Hi everyone. So today is Wednesday, May the 25th, 2022. And I want to take a few minutes to answer a question that I heard on Mike's RTD channel. This is Rethinking the Dollar channel, and the host there is Mike. And there was somebody who called in at minute marker 35 or 36 from Milwaukee, and he asked a question about hey, in this whole digital world and all that, how would you cash in or convert, how would he do it for his silver? And he asked specifically Mike, what would you do? And I thought that was a brilliant question, and I have some thoughts on how it would be done. And let me first, maybe I'm just pessimistic, okay? I hope I am just pessimistic, and that this is not the only way, but this is how I think it'll be done. So we all hear about blockchain, decentralized finance, and payment gateways, right? Just think about those three words. What does that mean? Decentralized finance, this is as old as time, right? From the time when people were, scratching on little stone tablets of who owes what to whom and who has how many assets, etc. Imagine a town square of I don't know, Stone Age or something. Imagine a town square where people come in and they go, okay, so you have 20 cows and you have this and you have that, and it's all sort of written in a name and in different symbols and markers, etc. on these stone tablets, and everybody gets to see who has what and all of that, and that's how that trade is kind of kept tallied up, right? That's basically what blockchain technology is. Okay, it just went from stone to ether. That's blockchain. So now, just think about that, and then think about, okay, so what if a person has no assets, right? Then basically that's when the debt score begins of okay, how many credits does your government give you in your little social credit scoring UBI system business, right? Okay, and for that, what is the debt that you incur? Which is where, I will go biblical a little bit for a moment, where, when Jesus died, he used some words, I'm blanking on the words now, but it was a Greek word which means paid in full, or the debt is this debt is finished. That's what he meant. No more debt. That's what he meant, actually. And then slowly, that bit got bastardized out of the Bible and everything. And it got removed, and we went in back by what was it? The year? Oh, interesting year. 1666 was the year when sort of that, it kind of went from the sovereign to the bankers. And for that history, you should really look at Alexander Del Mar's books. He's got some brilliant books. Or you can look at a guy, John Titus's channel called BestEvidence, and I think it's Psychopathic Bankers or something like that is that particular video. Very entertaining video, very informative. But anyways, he gives the full history of this. Or you can just read Alexander Del Mar's books. Anyways, so now on these stone tablets, blockchain, if you want, all this little tally is kept, right, of who owes what to whom and what barter is going on, etc., etc. Now, when you extrapolate that, that stone tablet business to the modern day in a digital system, this is where you have what they call smart contracts. Now, if you have a smart contract, whether it's Ethereum or whoever it is, it really depends. I suspect that if it's something, that's centralized and run by a government or run by, a group of unelected bodies internationally. Think of it this way. They'll usually like to have one chokehold, right? And who would that be? Ethereum, maybe. So that's where sort of like, they don't like privacy, okay? They don't want to give you privacy. Let's just face that. So, because I'm not saying here this is whether I agree with it or not. This is just, I'm just speaking practically what I see happening. So, if you have a smart contract that's written, visible, it's digital, it's visible on a blockchain, it's almost like, instead of going to your city and figuring out what property tax you owe or whatever, it's like it's all there, on the digital, transparent, privacyless ledger on the system, right? So in that same fashion, and I must give credit to Salivate Metal's channel on YouTube. He read out this article a while back. I'll have to dig and find where that video is. But anyways, he read out an article, Salivate Metal, that's his. He read out an article where he spoke about how, like, right at the start of the whole Russia thing, the Russia and Ukraine thing, they were talking about, like, demonizing blood gold, or like making sure that gold came from like clean sources, or like, it was ethically mined. And now they even talk about like green Bitcoin and all that, right? Why do they talk about that? Do you think they really care about the environment? If they really cared about the environment, no, they would not be taking a private jet to Switzerland. Okay, if they really cared about the environment, they would probably, I don't know, take a train, maybe get on Zoom or something. That's what they'd do. Or they would sit, economy class and go, like budget style at my like prior employer, Southwest Airlines, shout out. They'd do something like that. They wouldn't go fly on a private jet. Anyways, so it's not the environment they care about. It's about trackability of source to finish. Why? Because that start to finish, what is that? Cradle to grave, right? Yeah, that's what they want. Cradle to grave, debt slave tracking. Anyways, sorry. I'll try to stay out of the dark end of things. But practically speaking, so if they want to know, like, is your gold, green enough? Is it ethical? Is it blood gold? Why? Because if it is, then you will get paid less for it. You will get penalized for it, and that is how they can continue to carry on their like gatekeeping and their like exclusionary practices, but in a very above board way. Like, we're not discriminating against you because you're from that country. We're discriminating against that blood gold that you have. It's not personal. So that's kind of how they do it. Anyways, so what I suspect will happen is that by way of smart contracts, when I die, when all of like our generation people die, all of our stuff, any of our like boomerish assets will go off to our children on that digitally transparent blockchain. And then these poor kids, if they've not been properly financially educated, they will use it like little Robux. They'll use our assets like Robux, okay? It'll be spendable, it'll be visible, it'll be held on your phone in your little QR code system. If you do something wrong, they will delete your thing from the QR, from your QR code. You're out. You can't pay this. Oh, you owe back taxes on this, negative whatever. Oh, you owe this, negative whatever. That's kind of how it'll go. And so I suspect that in the future, when this is fully implemented, silver, say you have a silver bar, whatever, this gentleman from Milwaukee, if he has like some silver coins, he may have to log that as part of his assets on the blockchain. And not only that, he will want to log it in order to improve his own social credit score. Because just think about it. What if he gets a better health insurance rate if he has like more than a certain number of silver coins, say? He'll have to. I mean, he'll want to, actually, because it will be like better for him and better for his score. It'll increase his score. And they always try to do it like this, where, they make it so that compliance makes your life easier, and compliance gives you some little petty incentive and shit. So that's, I think, what they'll do. So you will yourself put your assets listed out on the blockchain, and maybe even pay you some petty interest or whatever on it, or up your score on it or whatever. And then that's how you will sell it, because you will be selling it, and you can sell it, when it goes up, when it goes down, whatever. But you see, the issue is that way, even the powers that be can sort of take their pound of flesh by way of capital gains tax or whatever, the increase the increase in the value of your silver is. Now suppose you say, oh, you know what, no, I want to keep it off grid and I don't want to do that. Sure, I'm sure there will be a black market for it. I'm positive there will be a black market for such things. The issue, though, then is whoever takes it from you, right, they're going to have to account for it, right? They're going to have to say, say I bought your silver from you and I've sold you something or the other. Now, as long as it's something consumable or whatever, maybe that's fine. What if it's not? Then I have to account for that, right, in some way, because otherwise now I may have to take on all of your capital gains tax and mine whenever it becomes that I would sell it. And let me say one thing, and then I'll go, because I'm here at my children's school. This is actually why Lynette Zhang from ITM Trading talks about that whole business of like collectible silver, pre-33 gold and this and that. Because when you talk about collectible versus like just straight up bullion, when you talk about collectible, that's a different market class altogether. And it is not something that can be easily valued, So suppose, because here's the other dark dark forecast. If they start to impose capital gains tax on unrealized things, right? Like before you've sold it, just because you had that increase in your assets, but you really can't do an unrealized like estimate on like weird old collectibles, because I may collect shit that nobody cares about. But then suddenly some mad billionaire might turn up and be like, oh, I want that vase, right? Or, oh, I want that crazy old gold button or whatever. Who knows? I don't have any gold buttons, but you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever crazy shit I may have, and then some eccentric billionaire wants that, that's a different market altogether. And that's where and how you can bypass that whole craziness. So that's why Lynette says what she says about the whole collectible thing. And that's how, gentlemen from Milwaukee, that's how you would most likely, in my opinion, log your asset on the blockchain and then sell it or use that for something else on the blockchain, or go the black market route. I don't know what type of silver you have. If it's like, like wild, cool, collectible coins, whatever, you could set up a shop maybe on some, whatever interface they have in the future, like Etsy, I found some pretty cool coins over there that they're just incredible. Anyways, so that's what I think. That's as I'd say, that's my 2 grams of gold, not my 2 cents. Okay, take care. Thanks again for listening. Bye.